Hello, everyone. I'm Andrew Reed, Juris Doctor, Small Business Development, IT, and Marketing Guru from sunny Victoria, BC. Follow me for new podcasts on beginner investing in business as I survive, grow, and prosper in a post-COVID Canada. Disclaimer: my podcast and YouTube content offer very generalized information that has been beneficial to me. Always do your homework and due diligence and make sure that any moves you make are in your own best interest. Nothing in my content is any kind of advice, and continuing to listen constitutes acceptance of this disclaimer in its entirety. Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's podcast, Wealth Hacks that I personally use. This will be 51 through 60. Let's get started. Number 51. Always dress like you're going to run into someone important. I have far too many stories of making a quick run to the garbage room or to the gas station and running into someone I would have been better off making a better impression with. I could have easily avoided that with a few extra seconds of effort. So, dress reasonably well, stay clean and hygienic at all times, at least when you are leaving the house. Number 52. Avoid paying for images if you can help it. There are tons of websites out there that offer royalty free images for the great price of absolutely free. One great example I just found is unsplash.com. unsplash.com. That was a great website. Now, I realize it's tough to compete with the quality of paid stock images, and if that's what you need, you have to do what you have to do. But at least give it a try on the free site. Try to save that money if you can. Why not? Tip number 53. Don't buy stocks at market open. Generally, there is a surge of buying right off the bat. Maybe from orders placed in advance, or maybe from the anticipation, yeah. Buying will typically cool off and reveal the underlying selling pressures. This isn't always true. There's always exceptions. The stock market is entirely unpredictable by its nature, but I would say more often than not. Um, so if the selling pressure is higher than the day's average buying pressure, then the prices will be lower than market open. So save a few cents and wait for that cool off. It lets you judge what's really happening in the market. Now, again, remember, there may be exceptions to this. This is a generalization and it can go either way, but otherwise, generally do not buy stocks at market open. Number 54. Don't waste time on toxic people. And I'm sorry to say this, but this can even include family members, old friends. As you work your way up in the universe, you will unfortunately need to leave some people behind. I will always try my hardest to help those people if they seek it, but you cannot let anyone's unwillingness to rise up anchor you to a lower plane. If you do, you will make your own journey that much more difficult. Number 55. Walk fast. Seriously, speed the heck up. Okay. For your health and wealth, ideally, become aware of your body and the different muscles that are being recruited to action by your mind. They have a correct sequence of triggering, and you can become in tune with this and control it actively. Beyond this mind body connection, there is simply a right way to walk with correct posture and minimal joint impact and maximum efficiency. Walking correctly and quickly can allow you to channel some truly great walking efficiencies. And this reduces your time investment, time, your most precious of resources, and the only resource more finite than Bitcoin. Ooh. Reduce your time investment into each and every activity while improving your heart health, your leg and core muscles, reducing visceral body fat, tummy fat. And you probably guessed that I might say this, but I personally walk a minimum of 11,000 steps 6 days a week. Find your own ideal step count. Consult your medical professional and commit to it. Get to it. I have a theory that talking while walking increases oxygen requirements and therefore boosts a cardio workout. So bring a friend along on your journeys. Choose different and new routes, being mindful of safety. This seems to keep the brain active as well. Walking literally purifies the body, engaging digestive and lymphatic systems. And the faster and more correctly you walk, the more than those systems will engage. The final tip: most new renditions of cheap imported fitness watches are as capable or more capable at health measurements than their overpriced counterparts. Okay, well, maybe not always, but for the money, at the very least. And I personally prefer a stingy fitness watch to make me really work hard for those step counts. Number 56, curbing the urge to spend money. A related wealth hack. Okay, so if you, like me, struggle to manage the powerful urge to be a consumer, well, we must try and resist this urge. Some ways of doing this make it more difficult for the spend to occur. There's a new trend where people keep a specific amount of cash on them at all times and they try to limit their spend to that cash. Okay, well, maybe this works for some, but remember you are missing out on credit and debit spending rewards by using merely cash. But if you have to choose, cash budgeting is better than spending outside your budgeted amounts. Number 57. Be grateful. Be very grateful. There are almost always worse scenarios. Number 58. You don't have to call them all right. No one can predict the future. No one calls them all right. Not Kathy Wood, not Meet Kevin, and certainly not Jerome Powell. This is why I personally listen to many sources and many mentors. It's worth the time investment for me, as money is really the base for any pursuits of luxuries like spiritual fulfillment and philosophy, or so claimed Aristotle. I'm sure Gandhi and Buddha beg to differ. Still, I think it may depend on culture as to what is your own personal spiritual fulfillment. But chances are, if you are listening to my videos or podcast, having financial independence would be a nice platform for you to expand from. Bonus tips. Are your hands starting to feel a little shaky? In other words, are you thinking of selling at a loss? Listen to Cryptos Are Us on YouTube for big crypto reassurance. And George there has endless optimism. Add Cryptos Are Us to your info stream. And if you need a little stock market reassurance, you can generally go to Meet Kevin. He will give you multiple perspectives and raw data and a generally unbiased explanation of it, but keeping it generally sounding positive, and then you can at least make your own choices from the data he presents. Number 2, for real estate reassurance, add Grant Cardone, Robert Kiyosaki, and Graham Stephan to your info routine. All those on YouTube. Final tip: listen to these mentors and learn from them, but do not necessarily do what they do exactly, because things change with every level up. By that, I mean the investment levels of your first 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, 1 million, 10 million, and so on. These are all different levels that you'll achieve. And there's a big difference between all of them. So remember, if you have $10 million of a stock and it goes up 1% and you sell it, you just made $10,000. Stocks fluctuate on those levels all day, which makes it a way different playing field for people with $10 million compared to people like me. So money becomes easier to make the more of it you have. If you have $1 billion, of which Elon Musk has hundreds of billions, then just 1 billion and 1% is $10 million. So $10 million every time a stock goes up 1%, or at the very least, this is a good illustration of how that actually works. So one thing to note, large amounts like that also suffer massive losses from small percentages. So what goes up must go down. Still, you'd be so well diversified, ideally, when you have that amount, that you would more often than not come out ahead. And that's the ideal goal of this wealth hack and all wealth hacks. You don't have to win them all, just come out ahead more often than not. Number 59. Unless you're a serious gambler, avoid high-risk acquisitions during a recession or otherwise hard economic times. Pro tip, not just high-risk stocks or altcoins, but consider minimizing all risk. Think about it. If you were in a skiing accident and you broke a leg and were out from work, your personal productivity may be severely reduced. So unless you're already wealthy, you can reduce your chances of pulling one of the bad cards in Monopoly, is how I see it. Think of other risks, avoid them, save tons of money that way, even when the economy is decent. You'll have plenty of time to tumble down a cliff when you don't live at or near the paycheck to paycheck life. Number 60, take profits. You can't time the market. When your stock or crypto hits the amount you're predetermined to be a win, sell it. Buy more later on the next dip if the fundamentals still work for you. But take your profits. So concludes this podcast, Wealth Hacks that I actually personally use 51 through 60. Right now, being no longer sponsored by Anchor, as I imagine most people are not, and being super busy with other products and other projects and general hustling, these podcasts might be less frequent. But I will continue this series until I hit 100, as promised, 100 Wealth Hacks. And I am also working on a YouTube channel project to be released publicly at a later date. And you can also find me on Instagram for real-time news and information. Cue the robot.
Do you have any Instagrams you would like to share with us before you go?
Get the latest real-time updates from my Instagram at Canada Stock Market. At Canada Stock Market.